renting versus owning, and this is the typical flyer. I'm actually covering the name of the real estate company that is creating FOMO, fear of missing out. Look, and this is what I call a mobile home, like technically a mobile home. Housing market is out of control. It's crazy. People are buying houses because they have so much fear that the market is going to be becoming even more unaffordable than it is now. We have high interest rates. We have high prices. Hey everybody, this is Henry here and welcome to the channel. Today we're on day 108 of my $1 million challenge. The market keeps getting more and more crazy every single day. Right now we are experiencing bank failures, and to me it's almost like a deja vu of 2008 when I was in the banking industry. And I remember that back then we were watching like the implode list. That was a trending thing. Again, this is 2008, 2009. It was the infancy of social media, really. Back then Facebook was around, but I think MySpace was the big player. And so the news didn't travel as fast as it does right now. But I remember that the implode list, we would literally, at my office, we would be watching this every day like hawks to see what bank would be failing. And I remember one of the best banks that we dealt with was Washington Mutual. And it was actually painful when they went under. But anyhow, now I see Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank, and many others that are actually failing. Their stocks are dropping by over 60%. And with that comes a lot of insecurity in the market. You have a lot of people confused. They don't know what to do. A lot of people are going to the banks and trying to get money. Smaller credit unions. I was actually pretty impressed with one credit union, mid-Florida. Very impressed with them. I had a client. He was able to pull some money out, and they didn't hesitate. Other institutions that are bigger, they're making it more difficult. They're asking their customers to come back in a week. But anyhow, that's another topic for another day. If you follow money supply, you understand that the truth is that there's very limited funds. I'm talking paper money in the US. Most of the money right now is abroad. Many countries have billions of dollars in reserves. So the amount of physical cash in the US is very, very limited. Most of the money is digital anyways. You see the balance in your statement. Personally, I don't think that that's going to change very much. What I do see happening is banks getting some form of bailout. Call it whatever, because that's what is the most common thing for governments to do. They come up with a new name, a new term, a new label, and it might affect inflation, because obviously, the more supply that is created for the bailout, in return we end up paying for it with a higher inflation. But anyhow, that's another. What's interesting here is I was looking at this mobile home, it was pretty cool to watch. It was being transported. I'm gonna play the clip in a minute. Technically a mobile home. Housing market is out of control. It's crazy. And people are buying houses because they have so much fear that the market is going to be becoming even more unaffordable than it is now. We have high interest rates. We have high prices. But anyhow, I think this is a great product. I would love to explore more this option. Mainly because of the speed. Mainly because of the speed that you can put down mainly because of the speed of the building process. Yeah, the only issue that I'm having with this type of construction is that the pricing, due to logistics and due to the supply chain, everything has become so much more expensive. These type of properties, I remember back in the day, you could have acquired something like this. This is a single wide. You could have acquired this for like $79,000. I think now the minimum that you can pay for this is like over $150,000. And that's a really good example of inflation right there. Like, I remember when you were able to buy these mobile homes, the single wides, for like $79,000, even $69,000 brand new. Now, I don't think that we can touch one for at least $150,000. And as a matter of fact, what I'm going to do this weekend, I'm going to be making some phone calls. I'll probably be recording this just to see if I'm accurate, and I want to see how much would a mobile home cost in 2023, and how long would it take to build. Anyhow, my plan is to make some phone calls. I want to check out, maybe I can visit some of these locations and shop around. I'm curious to see the difference in prices. My main focus will be mostly either a 2-bedroom and a 3-bedroom. I'm going to look for a mobile, and I'm going to also compare the price with the manufactured housing. And even though they look exactly the same, the construction is a little bit different. Manufactured housing, the construction tend to be a little bit more solid, closer to an actual stick build than a mobile home. And I'll want to know, last time I checked I think it was in around May, June of 2020. And the construction turnaround time was between 8 to 9 months for a manufactured home. A little bit bigger. This was like a double wide type manufactured home. And 12, 14, yeah, I think it was 12 to 1,600 square feet, and very expensive. Those were going as much as $200,000 outdoor, turnkey, with foundation and grading of the property, clearing of the lot, and all that. But anyhow, one of the misconceptions that I see over and over, and I want to show you right now a flyer that came across my desk: renting versus owning. And this is the typical flyer. I'm actually covering the name of the real estate company that is creating FOMO, fear of missing out. It's telling people that if your rent is $750, you lose $9,000 in 1 year, then you lose $45,000 in 5 years, and in 10 years you lose $90,000, and 15 years you lose $135,000. Obviously, very little people are paying $750. The average rent, right now is about between $1,200 to $1,400. So look at the numbers. If you see this, you feel like you're missing out. You're burning your money. But if you keep reading, this is the stupidity that they tell you, right? Owning, benefits, ability to have steady and consistent monthly payments. Well, let me tell you something. First of all, that's not true, because taxes are variable. Basically, your escrows are going to be variable. Homeowners insurance, that keeps going up and will continue going up, especially here in Florida because of the hurricanes. And you have so many lawsuits and mediation costs between homeowners and insurance companies that they are raising. Somebody's going to pay for those fees, and that's who? The consumer. The next one, act as an investment that builds equity over time. That's not true. Yeah, if your intention is to live in the house for the next 30 years, of course, you'll be building equity. But most likely in a market like now, you buy a house and you're going to end up probably losing 20 to 30% of your value. So you'll be stuck to be in that house for another 5 years to 10 years to recuperate the value that you lost if it goes down. Then you have number 3. You have, once the home is paid off, the home is yours. Well, of course, unless you don't pay your taxes, and after 3 years, you can actually lose your home. Number 4, you can customize and build additions to your home. Not true either. You have zoning located in a community that is gated, or you have a homeowners association, you cannot customize anything. You have to abide by certain rules. But right there, I just proved to you that those 4 statements are very, very inaccurate. Let's check out the renting, right? The cons, rents become more expensive over time. Yes, but you usually have, depending on the landlord, you can actually have a longer term lease. You can do a lease for 2 years. You can do a lease for 3 years. I don't recommend it, because if you want to have the freedom to move around, you get a better job someplace else. You want to be able to move fast. There's ways to build a good relationship, especially if you have good credit and you're a good tenant, you pay your rent on time. Landlords they would love to keep you, and you can always negotiate with the landlord. Number 2, you do not build your own equity. Well, you don't build your own equity, but if you get a decent rent, you're able to use some of that money that you're saving from having a cheaper rent than a mortgage. You can actually invest that money in something, and the opportunity cost of that money might help you build some equity in a different type of asset. Number 3, you pay off your landlord's home for them. Oh my goodness. Again, more FOMO. They're trying to give you the perception that you're paying somebody's house. Most likely that landlord has time on his side, meaning that he was able to buy that house when it was a lot cheaper, and now that's how he's able to make a profit. Number 4, must make at least 3.5 times rent in most cases. Well, let me tell you something. This actually angers me, because this is a typical mortgage lender and realtor that is trying to sell you a house that you cannot afford. What they're saying is that your income has to be 3.5 times your rent, and that is not true. Most rentals, they're looking for a DTI of 40%. More and more people are getting into mortgages that they cannot afford, with higher DTIs, close to 55% of your income, which is crazy, because you're basically working to pay your home, and that's not a healthy way to live your life. And the truth is, you shouldn't buy a house if your mortgage payment is more than what you make in 1 week. And if you're husband and wife and you both work, your combined income for 1 week for both of you should be the ideal maximum mortgage amount that you should be getting. So let's say that you're making $750, $800 a week. That's $1,600. Your mortgage, your PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, should not be more than $1,600, and that's not the case. I know for a fact that most people are paying between $2,300 to $3,000 a month, at least here in South Florida. Folks, these are just sales people trying to close deals. Don't be a victim and don't fall for the FOMO. I was listening to Clayton Morris from Morris Invest, and he's talking about 4 million homes deficit right now that the market has, and he's expecting this explosion of house sales and house appreciations in the next 12 months. I honestly anything is possible. I'm not going to discredit anybody, but all I'm going to ask, my friends, is for you to do your due diligence, study your market, spend the time analyzing, and most importantly, ask yourself, why are you actually investing in a house? Why are you buying a house? Because if you're buying a house just because everybody else is buying a house, or you have peer pressure from your family that they're telling you, well, it's about time that you own a house. Yeah, I think that I love the idea of being a homeowner, and that's the American dream. But you know what? There's a time for everything, and sometimes it's best for you to be a little bit more patient, shop around, and buy a house that is affordable. So you're not just working to pay a house, unless that's your dream, to just work hard to pay a house. Right now, a lot of companies are laying off. The last thing that you want to do is to be going through a foreclosure. That's a very painful process, and it will hurt you for a long time, not only financially but emotionally. So again, that's my rant for today for real estate. These are very murky waters. We might be able to see a lot of opportunities, and I think the truth is there's always opportunities in real estate. You just cannot go and buy what I call off-the-shelf homes. Calling a realtor and going through showings and buying, like the nice glossy properties. Of course, they're gonna maximize the price. That's what everybody wants to do. They want to sell the house for the maximum profit. So who's paying for that profit? You. And right now you will be paying not only a high price but also a high interest rate. So I'd rather buy a house that is lower in price, even with a high interest rate, because the high interest rate I can always refinance and get a better rate. But a house, once you pay too much for a house, you're done. You cannot lower that price 3 years down the road. Now, the cool thing is, changing the topic, today is my third day off the carnivore diet. And I miss my carnivore diet, believe it or not. I'm so used to it. So I cannot wait to get back to my carnivore diet. But I want to psychologically give myself that freedom to have a little bit of everything. I'm not pigging out, and I'm pretty surprised I'm not craving anything really. I thought that I would be craving ice cream and cookies and all these sorts of things, but I'm not. I haven't had any. And the cool thing is that I'm actually, as of this morning, I'm going to play the clip in a minute, I'm actually 195.8 pounds, which is crazy. Day number 3 off the carnivore diet, and my goal is to at least maintain my weight. So let's see where I'm at.
Body weight is 195.8 pounds.
Okay, not bad.
Body weight is 195.
So I've been maintaining my weight. I'm not swelling up. But again, I'll keep you posted. Before I forget, one of my sales, my eBay sales, lesson to be learned. I'm still dealing with it. It was one of my dishes that I sold. It was a decent sale, but now the lady sent me a message, the buyer, that she did not get the product, and according to eBay, it was already delivered. So now I will help her. It sucks because I really wanted her to have that dish, that plate. I mean, it's a beautiful plate. But no matter what, hopefully the person that, sometimes people steal your mail, and I think that's probably what happened to her. And she said that she's out of the country now, so she cannot contact the post office. But no matter what, food for thought. So anything that is, when you ship something via the United States Postal Service priority mail, it's insured automatically up to $100. So I only sold the plate. I sold it for like $15. So plus 20 with shipping, it was like $26. So again, it's under $100. She will be reimbursed. Unfortunately, those plates are very difficult to replace. So it was kind of not a unique plate, but it was a beautiful plate, and I really wanted her to have it. So I'm kind of bummed. Hopefully we'll be able to recoup, to get it from the post office. Maybe they can track it, who they left it with. But anyhow, just wanted to give you an update. And sales have been pretty good so far, with eBay. And also I uploaded 3 videos on Rumble, and one of my videos won the Rumble battle, which I'm still learning about that. And they already deposited $25 in my account, which is pretty cool. Anyhow, that's pretty much all for today. And thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. And until the next one, take care. To Clayton Morris, I love his show, Morris Invest, and the channel is very good. But I don't really trust the 4 million shortage of housing. Been hearing about this shortness of inventory for a while now, and I just don't trust it, to be honest with you. I don't. So his point is that buy now. This is his logic. Buy a house now, so that because the houses right now are at a very good price. And personally, I don't agree with that. I don't think houses are cheap right now. I think houses are near peak price right now. So to me, this is like the worst time to buy a house, because you have the highest prices and the highest interest rate.